Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson Media, and today I'm very, very much glad this evening to have Comrade. We want to discuss about our governance in our country, and he can share with us his view of what is taking place in our country. Thank you so much, my brother, and feel welcome in this podcast. How are you doing?
I'm fine, comrade. Thank you for your invitation as usual.
Thank you so much. And how is everything?
Huku tunang'ang'ana bwana. Everything is
Okay. Okay, asante sana. Today we want to discuss about the politics of business, yeah, and we've seen this one happening each and every time we have a crisis, and this will go and we will give our reference, especially to the Right Honorable Prime Minister, whereby majority of Kenya feels that he has always been putting the needs of the Kenya first, especially when Kenya is in crisis. And quarters also disagree with him. And we also going to look at, is the government really listening? And what is the way forward for the Gen Z after the political elite kind of like are grouping together, bearing in mind that today the Azimio stakeholders met today. We don't know what they were discussing. So that is where our discussion will be. So what is your take on what is happening with Prime Minister coming into board and say, okay, let's put the country first?
No, that is expected. That's as usual. That is his game. So there's nothing surprising there.
Yeah. But like the majority of people feel like he kind of like put the country first.
Which country has he ever put first? Which country?
He says Kenya.
Bwana mkono Raila jai salamiana ya bure. Just be aware of that. Enda bure nikarudi bure. So Raila is personal. He's a person who puts his interest first, and that's why he's always moving up and down, greeting everybody else.
So does this one solve the issues that we are going through as a country, or is bringing us backward? Because from even the argument that he's giving, based on what is happening, especially when we are talking about the revolution that was engineered by the Gen Z and what they were demanding for. But despite all those, he still went ahead and say, okay, let's put the country first, and let's me join hands with the President Ruto so that we can speak, or so like protect the country from collapsing.
You see, it's very surprising that Raila always greets people who kill Kenyans.
Yeah.
Kibaki killed Kenyans, Uhuru killed Kenyans, Ruto killed Kenyans, and it's the only time when Raila came in to put the interest of the country first. Hiyo ni uongo bana. I think Raila, because can Raila come out and tell us what was he paid when he greeted Kibaki? Because there are rumors what he was paid when he greeted Uhuru in 2018, around close to 20 billion. This time he was greeting Ruto after the 2023, was paid almost another 17 billion, and to support his AU candidature. So who is this Kenya that is putting first? Because every time he do a handshake, he joins government. So is he the Kenyan he's referring here? Is he the one whose interest is Kenyan interest? Just honestly, that man is just a liar.
Yeah. So, but do you think what has really happened, what they call the broad-based government, is this one going to resolve the issues that we Kenyans are facing and the issues that the Gen Z raised?
How do you expect that? Just the same way this government of Mama Mboga never solved the problem of Mama Mboga, because there was no Mama Mboga in that government. Now, this government of broad-based is not having any Gen Z. So how is it going to solve the problem of Gen Zs? I think the politicians always have their problems, and they always wait for the people's problem so that they can use people's problem to have their problem being sorted. Hakuna kitu inasolve hapo. Hapo imesolve tu problem ya labda Joho kukosa pesa kidogo arudi kwa gava, imesolve tu pesa za wakinoparanya warudi kwa gava. Basically, that's what it is. So there's no interest of any Gen Z or citizen that's going to be solved here. It's the interest of the politician that is going to be cemented and secured. Because if it was to solve the interest of the Kenyans, why do you appoint somebody who is already retired? Why do you give them job again?
Yeah.
So basically, it tells you whose interest is this.
And they're saying like by those the four members that were appointed, like it's now the face of Kenya, and you will even hear the president at the coast saying now we are moving together because the face of Kenya is here. We are working with the all Kenyans faces, you know, but still the promises and the way he used to be, all the promises going a campaign trail. And now you wonder, how is it going? How is it going to solve this? You know, so now what is the way forward that people can do so that we get out of this political business?
Now, the question is, which face of Kenyan?
Yeah.
Face of already beaten, murdered, and massacred Kenyan. That's the face he's representing. So there's no face of Kenya here in the first place. So basically, this guy is out to solve his problems and his own personal ambition. And you have to accept and give him credit for that. He has perfected.
Yeah. So when you look at the political class coming together, and despite the issues that have been raised by Kenyans, do you think this is going to solve this revolution?
What? The appointment of this Raila and the government?
A political now class coming together, and they are saying now we are pushing Kenya together, talking about of this negotiation that should even start and the bombers of Kenya. Is it going to solve the revolution that has started?
No. They have just realized, you see, when you look at The Art of War, I don't know if you are a fan of the book The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu says that the war has to take place on the battlefield. Probably most of the time, the people come from the high highlands and high mountains to the valleys so that they can fight at the valleys. Now, Ruto came from his high end and the Gen Zs came from the high end and they met on the valleys. On a flat plain, we were fighting. Then Ruto decided to retrieve, but he retrieved with somebody who was not interested here. But he's actually a potential ally. Raila Odinga was a potential ally in both sides. If he was actually to partner with Gen Zs, he could help the Gen Z, but Gen Zs told him to stay away. So Ruto picked a potential ally to partner with him. Then he went back to his war room in the mountains, organizing how he can crush us again and finish us. The problem the Gen Zs are doing that the Gen Zs are not retrieving. Some of them are still in the street, waiting to be crushed, because already now Ruto has the advantages in terms of, even if you call football, it's called the odds. So he's going to odds the juice, you see? So therefore, he has gained one of the person who could be a potential enemy to him in case the person was to join the Gen Zs. So he's already having him in his side, you see? So it means that he has increased he has stabilized his leadership a bit. And therefore, he has added one person who can give him more experience in order or how to tackle the Gen Zs, you see? Now, that is not solving the Gen Z's problem. The enemy is still out there because the Gen Z is not his government. Raila was not his problem. Raila was probably the potential asset he could use in this war. But then the Gen Zs must now retrieve again and see how they are going to approach now, not Ruto alone. It's Ruto Raila faction. And that calls for serious issues. That's why I've been calling the Gen Zs that we have been in the street. What lessons have we learned? We can no longer be in the street for long. We need to take a break a bit. And I think there was a need of now going to monthly basis so that we can go back to the war room. Sun Tzu says that the war is won on the battle room, not on the battlefield. But the problem that as we are retrieving back to the battle room, we are retrieving with the potential spies and enemies in our midst. The people who have been abducted, taken to the government. We don't know how they negotiated the government. We don't know what happened. They have not come clean about that. They have joined us. Some people are now becoming more stronger than ever. We've never had them in all the protests that have been in this country. How easily are we going to trust them? That's the key issue coming in. And then that means that we need first of all to win the enemy inside before we go out again to tackle the combined enemies now outside. It's a double task on us. And we must be open enough to see it and see how we are going to combat it.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think on the weekend, you might have a chance to see or to watch how the president was giving promises on how we will do this, all the projects, especially his time touring the coast. But at the same time, the president is telling us there's no money. Yeah. So how is that one going to happen? Or it is a PR kind of like government and to make people feel like the president is working?
This guy do not learn. This guy will never change. This guy is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Just the same way like the Bible person. He's the same today, yesterday, and tomorrow. So even after his empty promises angering citizens, he's still going out again to start giving the same empty promises. My friend, this guy is shameless.
Mhm.
I'll have used bad word on him, but let me just say his level of understanding, he thinks that we are very fools. Nende alisemanga wajinga walisha Kenya. Kwani yeye anapatanga wajinga wapi? Because basically, you cannot be there was a track of his promises. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
417 promises that he has given since he
Yeah.
joined power. In less than 2 years, somebody gives you 400 promises, man. It's like hata kama unakatia mrembo, how can you give 400 promises in less than 2 years? Then his actually achievement rate is only 4%. In fact, 76% of the promises he has promised has never even been started. 76%. Then he's going up, he's adding more promises. Ruto is misunderstanding or misreading the citizens. The citizens do not need promises. The citizen needs accountability. The citizen do not need any projects. The citizen need accountability. After all, Ruto cannot even point one road he has built since 2 years started. Even one road he has constructed somewhere. Tell me an highway Ruto started and finished. Tell me anywhere. There's no way in this part of this country Ruto can point on a project that he started completely and finished. Apart from zile za Uhuru zenye anamalizianga. Nothing. So this guy is just not learning anything.
But does it mean that even the crowds are not learning that what president is promising is not forthcoming? Because you would see from the crowd they are clapping, and some of the members of the parliament, somebody was saying like, we thank you for what you've done for appointing one of us to be in the cabinet. Now umetupatia zawadi, tunangoja kukulipa. Does it mean that even the public themselves are not understanding, or what is happening?
The only person who can trust Ruto is somebody Ruto has paid. Either aliwanunia kamkate, kachai, those are the only people who can trust Ruto. Because nobody can see that Ruto is... In fact, all Kenyans know Ruto is a failure. And Ruto is a liar. And Ruto's promise has never come to true. So, ukiona watu wanapiga makofi, labda walisafirishwa na gari wakaletwa hapo wakaambiwa mkipiga makofi 500, Ruto has to operate on a hired crowd moving forward. Because nobody can trust him. I'm sure even his wife don't trust him for all those years they've stayed together. Because this guy lies. In fact, I was seeing in that clip, somebody was telling the other lady, the lady was telling the person behind, just next. Probably what she was guessing to the lady, hiyo ni uongo ingine anasema. Unasikia anataka kusema hiyo ni uongo ingine. So basically, people know this guy of his life. So when people just clap for you, it doesn't mean that they now trust you. They know you're a liar. Maybe they're clapping for a new lie you have introduced. So makofi for another lie, basically.
So and maybe let's come to the so-called broad-based government, which to me it doesn't exist. I think it's just an handshake in a plain language, where you find the personality that are brought into it are can we call them the surrogate of one person? Because these are people who are the personality who usually praise and adore one person. How is that one going to change even the health sector that we have? How is that one going to change the educational challenges that we are having? Yet we still have, like, if you look at the ministerial portfolios or the CS portfolios, it's like around 22. And we were talking about of austerity measures that we can reduce our expenditure. How is that one going to work?
How broad is that broad-based government? How broad is it? Because basically it's broad in the pockets. It moves deeper in the pockets of those who have deep pockets to amass more. That's how broad it is. But basically, you must realize that this is a systematic problem. Everybody mentioned there, majority of them are orphans of the system. They have been breeds of the system, and actually, they have been part of a system.
You're kind of muted.
Sorry for that. I'm saying that these are people who came in politics. Like you see, the old Joe and Oparanya are sycophants of Raila.
Yep.
They are Raila's projects. So there's nothing of the interest of the people there anymore.
But like when you see again the areas whereby the people have been appointed, people are celebrating. You know, like for instance, when Mbadi was appointed, you look at Homa Bay. when you look at when people were appointed, especially you look at Homa Bay, the Homa Bay people were celebrating. You look at the coastal people, they were celebrating. The Western Kenya also was celebrating, and they're saying like, now we are in government, you know.
Now you see, the problem is that those who are celebrating, were they in the demonstration? Because you see, even the devil has his followers. So these are followers of a certain bad person somewhere there who is now being appreciated by his friends. But I'm telling you, I don't trust any crowd that come out genuinely. Watu bwana, hata kama maandamano ndio Ruto alikuwa na haya watu wengine waende wasaidie kama goons. The government is hiring other people to go as goons. So anybody who is even celebrating is not honest enough in their celebration. That's what I can say.
Okay. Let's come to about the issue that is going around, especially about Deputy President Adi Said's being investigated to be purportedly sponsored the protest. Yet the president one time said like the Ford Foundation were the people who were behind the protest. Does it mean that enough intelligence is not with the president? Now they are coming for the aids of Gachagua, yet he told us very well.
You see, whatever president is trying to do is an escape. Is actually, but of course, we cannot actually also dismiss the element or the aspect that there was either a deal by the Gachagua team to try to hijack this revolution and probably sponsor it a bit. Because you see, I've always said that this revolution had three phases.
Yeah.
There were the initial young people, Gen Zs, who went to the street to just fight for finance bill to go. Probably deep in their thinking, there was nothing even like at the Ruta end. But there's a class who realized, kumbe crowd inaweza tokea mingi hivi, so let's push for Ruta end. That was a different class that came in between. And majority of them were professional politicians, civil society, and many other things. Because to them, they had a deep understanding of a problem of this country. And they know that the biggest problem or the real problem of this country is Ruto, not even IMF or whatever. Because at a change, Ruto becomes a reformist. Tutasema toe finance bill akatoa. But the people understand that the bigger problem is not even the finance bill, it's Ruto himself. But then there was the upper class now, the Gachagua team probably, and the business class, who felt, okay, can we not pump more money here maybe sometimes to see how we can push now the Ruto to go completely? So all these are possibilities that can be there. But it is not that they were the main driving force in the demonstrations. I've gone to the demonstration, including even this recent one here, Gwenda JKA.
Yeah.
I had to walk from my place to JKA because there were no vehicles moving around. In fact, it was over 16 kilometers. When I arrived there at Cabanas, there was already demonstration was over. So who paid me? And I've gone through so many young people who have also participated in this demonstration, and they can't tell who paid. So they are only going because it's issue-based. And I think the moment we started losing issue-based and started being person-based, because you see, they do say that actually it is small minds that discuss people. Big minds discuss ideas. So when you are pushing for issue-based, everybody could really understand and come out. The reason why even I went for the recent one, it was because it was JKA issue. So I was going to protect JKA to show in solidarity that we don't want anybody to take over JKA, even if we were to intimidate the investor, so that he back off from taking the JKA. That was issue-based. But when you talk of actually person-based, like Ruto must go, then you must be strategic enough, because we know that we must advance our scores and our plans if we want to face Ruto to go, because that calls for serious preparation. And we need, and I even advise, even if you are going to face the nane, we need to go there with more organized mind. But we've tried this. We've gone with smartphones and iPhones. But iPhones and smartphone cannot block a gun. iPhones and smartphone cannot block that water cannon. And no matter how peaceful we have been, the young man was shot in front of a parliament with only a flag. What does it mean then? We need to have combat mechanism, combat techniques. It's not that we are actually trying to be violent to guard the government, but we need now to protect ourselves and have some combat advanced thing that can protect you. Kama unaweza weka hata magunia ama zile mabox za nyumbani, piga kwa kifua, weka ndani alafu uvae nguo nje. That can be your armor, you see? And I even tell people, you can even make a homemade shield. Unaona kama hii homemade shield, we call it okumba.
Okumba, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
make something hata kama ni ya mabati ama ya whatever, make it enda kana kwa street. Wakitupatia gas unaweza nunua jii hivi, block tia gas irudi. Wakitupa maji unaweza protect hivi, ipige maji rudi. We need to be now combative in us because we've learned the mindset of our enemy. We need to advance it a bit if you want to take the ballot or the street demonstration and revolution.
But like the way you're talking about the combative measures, and do all the Gen Zs who are going, and because I don't think it's now a Gen Z issue, everybody that has interest of Kenya at heart who will be coming for the nane nane, yeah, do all of them come with the same motive? All of them?
No, the issue here is that but I don't think you can leave your work to go to the street unless you're a thief. You're going to steal, probably.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
can be a motive available.
Yeah.
But you see, maybe if you're going to steal, you're not going to steal from the demonstrator. Maybe you want to steal from a shop nearby. But I've also seen how the demonstrators have tried to be disciplined a bit by disciplining those people they see actually want to ruin the demonstration. And in fact, those people who come to steal are the people hired by either the government or those goons who come to steal. Because why do you steal when people are struggling to help yourself, you see? So basically, we must also assess who are these people coming to steal. But kwa nyumba yako, I'm sure everybody has a kibuyu in the house. So ukate kibuyu katikati, hiyo side ya mbele enda beba kama shield. At least maji kimwago unaweza inua hivi igonge repel ama reflect. You see, basically we need to find all the chances of survival. Yes, we are going to the street. We know the bullets are there. But we must also increase our chances of survival because our survival also in the street is very important.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me just bring you back again on the issue of handshake that is happening. You remember in 2018 when the Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga shook hands, the president was one of those who really was against it and he talked so much about it even in his campaign. So my question to you may be, if the 2018 handshake was not good, what makes this one more viable to the country?
Ask those ODM minions and those who support Raila Odinga and those who support Ruto, those who are celebrating in the street, they ask them what can be different. Because basically, the 2018 handshake actually led to a lot of, I know the COVID was there, we can't blame it much, but you see how the cost of living also skyrocketed. But another thing is, I'm suspecting the Western hand in these all handshakes. Raila Odinga is always being compelled by the West to accept handshakes because the West are the people steal elections in Kenya to actually endorse and put their puppet. You can you listen to this? When 2023, remember that guy senator, I don't know, from US came over here.
Yes.
Then kidogo representative, I don't know, from diplomats from EU come to see Raila. Then kidogo this old man from Nigeria who should go back to Nigeria, Yo Basanjo Lesegun, whatever. Yeah. Just rotates around here as if did Obasanjo move to Kenya? Maybe he should tell us where he's staying because we also want to go greet him. If in case he's a resident in Kenya now, we can go say hi to him in a Gen Z manner. So if you realize all this, it tells you clearly that these are Western backed processes. And that's why even suspecting, I had applied for the AU chairperson commission.
Yes, I remember.
I sent my letter to the president on March 1st, and I think he used it for his toiletry or something like that. But now you realize that Raila either had an exchange deal here. Accept Ruto's presidency. Let's part you with this 17 billion and another billions for your campaign for AU. And then we are going to ensure that you become the AU chair. So even the Raila's actually candidature for AU probably is instigated by the West. Those who managed to have a truce between him na Ruto. So all these handshakes that ukiangalia vizuri, hizi vitu ni kama zinatokanga nje zikikuja hapa juu. It's the West that actually mess up our system. Then they come up for a cover-up report.
Yeah, but like let's say like what you're saying, because if you look at the 2018 handshake, it was the President Uhuru Kenyatta was held hostage by the president, yeah. And when you look at this one, this is people against the president, and all of them, Raila comes and neutralize this. After all this, and maybe a normalcy for a period of time, we find the justice, especially for those who are killed by the police, those who are, injured, those who are nursing wounds, they don't get compensation. Just for how long will this one happen?
The handshake between Raila and Ruto took place last year. Si mwaka. Ilifanya ile wakati tukienda maandamano ya 2023, the one that Raila hijacked. So that's when they went to Bomas. And Kalonzo was enjoying that day because he was taking alliances and drinking tea in Bomas for almost 4 months, doing a nonsense report that could not afford partners. Just imagine the 2023 one. What was the answer? Demonstration of cost of living. Yeah. Then the politicians came in. What did they come in out of it? Sava. In the Bomas draft, is there a cost of living in that so-called Nadiko report that Raila is always telling us every day, this is the solution to all problems? Was there a cost of living there? So they came up and hijacked our demonstration. And Kalonzo was enjoying very well chairing that committee. Now that he's not in the government, amekuja kwenye kupiga kelele because there's no way he's going to drink another tea. So basically what's happening is that they had an handshake by 2023. Now here, Raila, in fact, I feel is Ruto wanted to approach Raila so that at least he thought that by Raila's figure, accumulator kwa his government, at least once again, because they had a working relationship. Remember the AU thing started even before this demonstration. So Raila's candidature for AU started some time back, you see. So I think he thought that because I have already a friend here and he's still depending on me to go for AU, why don't I also force him to come in to support me as I continue to support his AU thing? And remember, after that, now the foreign affairs have signed the documents, they have gone to AU, everything else is moving very fast.
So and now what about the people, especially the young lives that were lost, not even on this one, but ever since we started the ones that NADCO report came about, the lives, I've never heard people discussing about the compensation or even the justice for them. It's so much silent. And another idea, maybe you can also talk about the issue that every time we have a problem, instead of finding solution, but we kind of increase the position to accommodate everybody so that we feel accommodated. Why is that one so in our country?
The politicians create a problem, then come back to pretend to create a solution. Because solution brings in a lot of money. So they create a problem so that the solution become a process that costs us a lot so that they can benefit out of that. But second thing, how much can blood be? Even if you have to seek compensation, how much can somebody pay you for a blood loss so that you're satisfied?
Nothing. You cannot compensate life.
Yeah, these are people whom we must now push to be accountable and be held accountable either in ICC, ICJ, or anywhere possible. Raila Odinga must go alongside his brother now, Ruto, to ICC and be prosecuted. Last time alitoroka 207. This time around, we want to bring him in the problem, in the process, because he's enjoying the system. Instead of his mandate as an opposition leader to call out for accountability, ye mwenyewe anajoin government. We really need to take this serious and ensure that Ruto goes back to ICC together with all his police officers, police commanders, and all those people who have been seen in these videos. At least it cannot pay the blood we've lost, but at least some level of justice can be done. Because without that, tell me, these people will be killing us every day and walk out scot-free. Unless we're 2027 awarded to our committee. Simple.
Yeah. Okay. If you look at now, as we speak right now, we have what you call Super Alliance. This is ODM with the Kenya Kwanza government. And you remember when especially the budget for the first lady and the second lady in command, the parliament actually did not touch it. They say it will stay the way that it is. And when you look at the things that touches on the people of Kenya, like education and health, these are the areas that suffers. And them. So do you think we can trust them even with the vetting that is coming, since the majority now is the ODM and Kenya Kwanza? You are muted.
Let me ask you, my friend.
Yeah.
Is your wife being paid because you're interviewing me, because you're in an interview or a reporter? Is your wife being paid for that?
No.
But how shameful are these people saying that because your husband is president, the wife should be paid? We should have an office because the husband is president. Who is a CEO of a company whose wife is getting an automatic office because the husband is a CEO? Yeah? This is some level of mediocrity and stupidity. First lady to who? First lady to his husband. So why do you create all offices in the name of first lady? To do what? The wife did not campaign. The wife of Mudawa did not campaign anywhere. Nobody elected the wife of Ruto anywhere. Why should they take our money to open up the offices? If the husband have a lot of money, let them create their wives' offices using their salaries, you see? But now, we need to visit again the parliament. You know, the constitution, they say the people may delegate their power. Yes. I think now it's time either we have to bring down the whole parliament so that those people sit somewhere else, because wherever they sit there, they don't represent anything that concerns us at all. And therefore, I really feel that the biggest problem again is the parliamentarians. And it's a
Yeah,
high time
because
we need to organize.
yeah, thank you. Because the budget that was allocated for those offices, they're not touching on them. They're going to stay the way it is. Yeah, and when you listen to the president during the second speech, those are some of the austerity measures that the president took. But now, when it goes to parliament, the parliament are not going. They are going to override that. So it asks you how are we going to, if the people that represent us are still continuing to allow some of the issues that do not even matter to the people.
Okay, as you can see,
Yeah.
I've told you that the parliament is our biggest problem now. I need to find a way on how we can deal with it. Nadhani ile salamu haikutosha. And that's why I told the Gen Zs one thing. Instead of us moving together to the street every day and demonstrating along the street, acha tu visit hawa watu makwao. Kwao nyumbani, MP kwako ni wapi? Acha tusalamia na wewe hapo. Ndio next time ukirudi kwa pale mnakumbuka ile salamu ulipewa, hautarudi tena kufanya hizo maujinga. Cause the government cannot provide security and policies to all members of parliament that can protect them from the people. They cannot. And the people have right to take the what you call the mob justice. People have right to still have justice on their hand if the system do not function properly. So wacha tuende tunaangalia wajinga wenye nasema ati hizo maofisi zisitolewe. Tunaangalia vizuri kwanza. Wakipitisha hiyo tunaenda kwao kuwasalamia ndani ya nyumba yao, kwa biashara zao na everywhere else. Because basically, my friend, let me ask you one thing. If the people are the one who elected you, why should you listen to a president who is out of the people touch? Then you expect the 2027 body to Rudy to campaign. Those people will be accountable for any laws they passed and for anything they did in the so-called in the behalf of the people. They will be accountable. And one day, I believe one day, when the Gen Zs and the millennials and the younger people take over power, they'll never forgive those people and or never forget what those so-called MPs did to us. We must face them, and also they must be brought to book.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I just want to give you a scenario. You remember when the protest started, and Faith Adhiambo, the LSK president, she was doing an amazing job. Then all of a sudden, you saw president coming up with a committee that is going to investigate about our public debt that we don't know how much is it. Then knowing very well that, okay, it is not right, because there are bodies that are given the function by the law. Law has given them the opportunity to work on it, and the president picks up somebody who is shining on the public. Why do you think he's doing so?
That's why I tell you, this president is close to being a fool, but he's trying to play us as fools. You see, they say that you can't fool people. You can fool people sometimes, but you can't fool everybody all the time. The president wanted to catch those people who have been active enough, and I'm afraid he will. That's why he even catch Raila Odinga, because you know he's a popular person. So he's trying to win the people who are active enough to his side, so that those people can help him work on his causes. You see, so that tells you honestly that that man is not concerned about the work. He's concerned about impressing the people, so that those people. And I thank Faith for actually rejecting that position, because just imagine if they were to be compromised and give us fake reports the same way we've been having commissions ever since independence, commission of this, commission of that, report of this, report of that. Where have they been going for? And after all, we have an Auditor General who is giving accurate, timely audits. Then why do you have to employ other people again? So he wanted to put Faith in the midst of corrupt individuals, so that Faith could join the corruption and appear like a corrupt person in the process. So the president is not actually genuine enough to solve our problems. If he's genuine enough, he knows what he should do, not trying to do some PR here hapa na pale. Hizo PR apelekee familia yake man.
Okay, Asante. On the comment section, if you have any question that you want to ask our guest, you are highly welcome to do so, and he will be glad to be answering those questions. Thank you so much, Mr. Black, for showing up, and everyone that is commenting. Let's come about this issue about impeachment of Gachagua. Is this one a diversionary tactics to take the public out of real issues, or is it something that is happening?
Gachagua and Ruto are not even fit for any public office. In fact, they should all be impeached and go home. Let me start there. That so guy and his day.
Why do they concentrate on Gachagua?
That's divisive tactic.
Yeah.
I know there were people moved to court with the petitions to remove both Ruto and Gachagua.
Yeah.
Now the question again is here: Is Gachagua the one who went and borrowed money from IMF?
No.
Is Gachagua the one who went to take the police officers in Haiti? Is Gachagua the one who wanted to tax us? Is Gachagua the one who told the MPs to vote for the bill? Now, where do Gachagua come in? Just the same way he did this with this cabinet. Him removing the cabinet was his technical means. Actually, it was not more of for the interest of the people. Because tell me, where did the cabinet secretary cause Ruto to borrow more or cause Ruto to go to IMF? Who advised the Ruto in the cabinet secretaries to do that? So he actually took a divisive means by actually removing the CSS to divert our attention, just to bring them back in various portfolios. Now, he's trying to divide our attention again from him going home and resigning, just to bring Gachagua in some false accusations. I know Gachagua might either be involved in this, but at the end of the day, is he holier than Gachagua? All of them must go home. Simple.
So, because and do you think this is also a warning to maybe Gachagua, knowing very well that now they have the ODM on their side, so you have to toe the line? Because you remember the second briefing of the president, Gachagua addressed one in Mombasa, the president one in Nairobi, but they were speaking from different script. They were like co-president, and is this maybe like also something to direct towards him?
Even Ruto did not respect Uhuru Kenyatta, who impeached him. Because he's trying to behave as if he has been the faithful, holy wife here. Himself, he was not also loyal, and in fact, he came out clearly to oppose the president, who tried to impeach him. At the end of the day, yes, Ruto is almost done with Mount Kenya. Now that he's moving to Nyanza, he's trying to think how he can bring Nyanza, Western, and Coast on his bucket so that he can win the election. But you see, the election will not be based on tribes. Hii ndio mali anajifanya nayo. Alikuja na hustle narrative na watu wakafunza kina Raila kwamba election ifanywangi kwa ukabila. Na hustle has passed. Now sasa yeye amerudi kwa ile jinga Ruto na Raila na Uhuru walikuwa wamekaa wakifanya hiyo jinga ya makabila. Sasa ndiye anapiga hesabu ya makabila. You will realize that Gen Zs do not have those tribes. Gen Zs are not Luos, Gen Zs are not Luyas, Gen Zs are Gen Zs bwana. So I know he's getting used with Gachagua and Central Kenya, and he want to walk away from Central Kenya to this side of the factions. But I think that's a very early betrayal. Very early betrayal. As much as either Uhuru betrayed him, but Gachagua in one way or the other did something for him. But I don't think that the two of them even deserve to be leaders. As I've said before, our watu wanafaa waende kwao bwana.
Okay, sawa. This is the question for you. Ask Big Pin Odemwengi, what is the end game of Gen Z demos? For how long are they going to remain faceless? That's a question for you.
You don't know any face of a Gen Z? Or which face do you want when you say faceless? Because at the end of the day, those people are not in mask. Gen Zs are having their faces being seen. At the end of the day, there's nothing like the Gen Zs have been leaderless. You know, ukora. Kwani zile maposters zinatoleanga ya demonstrations zinatokanga heaven? Ni nani wanakaanga mahali wanatoanga hizo maposters? You see? I think the only reason those people when wanatoanga hizo maposters hawajatokea ni juu wao si majenzi. I suspect hao watu si majenzi when wanatoanga hizo maposters ati majenzi waende hapa, majenzi waende pale. Gen Zs are not faceless, neither are they leaderless. Hiyo ni uongo. You see? Because imesemekana nani alituambia twende tukutane tarehe nani?
Yeah.
Wanataka kuniambia there was nobody who said that. And whoever gives the command is the leader. Because at the end of the day, when it was said nane, see, people came out people preparing for nane. So how come somebody who want to demonstrate on nane want to say they are leaderless? Who told you to come out in nane? And why are you coming out on nane? You see? So there's nothing like that. But I know sooner or later, and what I'm calling for, we need to be bold enough so that we form and come out and face this government. We can never stay in shadows forever. I know most of us have been in the street and they see our faces in the street every day. But you need to be technical. Watu tutawatoa kama zisa hii 2027 watatoka, my friend. Na wakiiba kura ya 2027 kama hii ya finance bill peke yake tulibomoa parliament, waibe 2027 wataona.
And like you can even see the committee that was supposed to deal with the IBC. They are still complaining about on the selection. You know, you saw that. So like they're saying like it was not done according to the law. Some of the members are complaining.
Unajua nakwambia watu wanatakanga shortcut. Unaona? Wanapegwa na IBC to see how they can get in. That's why they want to manipulate the IBC thing. But we don't care whether IBC will be like the same way Ruto told Raila that we don't care even if the chairperson of IBC will be your brother Uhuru Odinga. We don't care whether the wife of Ruto will be the chairperson of IBC and Raila's wife will be the secretary of IBC. We don't care anything in that sort. Hata kidogo. So hata wajipange aje tutawatoa tu.
Why not consider 2027 election also as an alternative to remove the president? Have they taken note of the numbers of Gen Z and how to make use of the numbers in 2027? That's another question.
Yeah, we must face them in 2027 because we realize that the problem in this country is leadership. So we cannot continuously vote a problem, then go in the street demonstrate against the same problem we voted. So now that we are realizing that there are problems we do vote, we must have a long-term strategy to prepare and be the alternative in 2027, which means kila jenzi mwenye anaona shida iko mahali akwe MP, ajitokeza akwe MP, ajitokeza akwe MCA, ajitokeza akwe. I will still go for the presidency. In fact, I contested for presidency when I was Gen Z before even the Gen Z thing came in. Yeah. And I was already out there, you see. So the Gen Zs must prepare for 2027, but that doesn't mean that we cannot have short-term and medium strategies. And short-term strategies to ensure that we keep these guys accountable every day. Tukiacha pia bwana. Watu wanaweza iba vitu mingi na ukuje upate venye Ruto anasema ati Uhuru aliacha serikali kama haina kitu. So tukiwaacha pia walale hivyo. Tutakuja tupate shimo imechimbwa hapo kubwa sana.
Okay, talking about of Gen Z preparing for 2027. So what are the things that they should do? Because they don't have a political party. They say they are faceless, they are leaderless. But you know, for you to contest, you can contest as an independent candidate, and sometimes also you can contest with a political party because you have your political party that you own, that you are going to run as a president. What about the Gen Z and voter registration and all that?
My party is not close to any Gen Z. After all, this party was actually founded by younger people in 2019. Yeah. We've been struggling with it, and that's why we failed. We never sold it because when we never had money, we stopped as young people, and we came back, and now I'm back. We are picking it to finish the journey. Yeah. But then the Gen Zs can also go independent, but I will not advise independence. Since that I ran for independent as an independent candidate, and you can see out of 57 presidential aspirants, 40 of us were independent. And imagine we never got even one on the ballot. There's a lot of challenges that come with the independent candidate, you see. But the reality is that we must start to organize ourselves into that direction so that we don't need to do anything big, because the message of this government is enough manifesto for us to campaign on. Hii serikali hata hitaji ukae mahali tena utoe manifesto nyingine. Hii ujinga zote wamefanya, hata ukiambia wananchi kila mtu hataki. Hakuna mtu atakwambia ati nipe manifesto yako. Mbunge mwenye alivote yes to this bill is enough ticket for him to go home. So how ready are we to start discussing about the next election? But the biggest thing is that we must start doing what you call mass registration advocacy. We must start mass voters registration. We, the young people, want to be the leaders, must go out and start calling the villages and the people to start registering as voters. Because that is the only tool that is available to all of us without any discrimination of our class or our money. But also we must start looking for alternative leadership. We must start having something like a shadow government. We wanataka kuwa MCA. Anza kupanga na kukeep huyo MC mwenye ako ndani accountable. The 2027 ukuwe relevant to the people. But usilale tu mahali unangojanga 2027 utakuja. Be strategic enough. But the chances for us to win is already there for us. It's about us to come out and win.
Okay, now let's come and talk about the opposition, which doesn't exist as per the constitution we have. We have the minority and the majority, and for the longest time our parliament has been remote controlled from the executive. How is this one going to work if the ODM and the Kenya Kwanza are now together? Will the people of Kalonzo and Eugene Wamalwa do a better job in parliament?
Bwana Raila Odinga need to be serious with us. Sisi watoto.
Yeah.
Raila hawezi kuwa amekanyaga mguu moja nje kwa opposition na moja ndani kwa serikali. Hataki mtu yote ingie opposition amekanyaga nje. Hataki mtu yote ingie kwa serikali, kila serikali hataki impite bila yeye kukula. Anakula 2007 na baada ya opposition. Anakula 2017 na baada ya opposition. 2022 tena anataka kuja kukanyaga mguu mbili bwana. Aache ujinga. We need to be very serious. They must realize that opposition are the people. Yeah. Not the party. Raila Odinga can no longer assume anyway that is the opposition. We, the Gen Zs and the younger generation, are the opposition. And therefore, we are the people who must use direct democracy. MP wakipitisha bili Odinga tutokea hapo kesho. Tusingoje Raila, tutokea hapo kesho. Tuwafunza adabu kidogo. Kitu yote rais akifanya kitu Odinga tutokee kesho kutwa. Tufanye the same thing. Kama sasa tunaongoja rais. Sasa amesema passport itachukua 7 days.
Yeah, 7 days. Week. Yeah.
After 1 week tuko Nyayo house, hiyo Nyayo ya passport. Nataka kuona hizo passport. Tunaenda huko.
Wenye wamepata kazi ya kuenda nje pia mtalipiwa, watagharamia pesa ya ndege. Hiyo pia alisema.
Kama ameshinda kulipa pesa ya JCC, Junior Secondary School, hiyo ndege atatoa wapi?
Si unaenda tu airport unaambia wewe unaenda hivyo, ndiye alisema. And when you see all these promises that the president is making, yeah, and the projects, are they really going to work?
Huyu jamaa hata hiyo promise angeambia mtoto wake Shalini angeingia box kweli. Cause unajua huyu jamaa anachukua na ujinga zingine zenye make sense. At the end of the day, we know very well that no matter the time we can give this president, there's nothing more he can do. That's why it's even to the best interest aende tu leo. Juu huyu jamaa tukimpea time gani, hakuna kitu atafanya ya maana. Hakuna.
So these are just promises. Go ahead.
No, Ruto is a king of promises, my friend. He promised Africans that Kenya will be visa free. Iko happy.
But do even leaders who come, because like if you listen to Prime Minister, what he was saying is our expert, he called them the expert, I quote, and they're going to work in those ministerial or all those portfolios with the policies of Orange Democratic Movement and Azimio. Is that one possible? You're coming into another administration and bringing another. Is that one possible?
Which policy of Orange and Azimio is here? Handshake policy, or which policy is it?
I don't know. That's what he said. Like those who are expert, he was reached out and he said, okay, we are releasing our expert so that they could go and work with the policies.
Yeah. Our expert is Joho. He has worked in Mombasa for 10 years. How has he changed the county government of Mombasa and they are expert? Yeni expert wa nini?
Yeah, those are the questions that people are raising.
Nakwambia Raila Odinga pia kwa na ufalaka ya Ruto, because I think that man is old enough. We can excuse him. Maybe anasahau akona jinga kidogo. But how expert is people who have failed in previous government. Now Alfred Mutua mwenye aliambia watu wa Machakos ati Machakos itakaa kama London, sijui Washington. My friend, how expert is that a person? Maybe they're expert of liars and thieves and looters. That's the only expertise they have.
So hopefully, let's hope like if things will change. And
my friend, don't hope. Don't use the word hope. Don't hope. If you are hoping, where's how is mama hope zako? Okay, we'll talk again after 1 year. You tell me if you are still hoping, if you have hope.
Because you know, and somebody was just asking this. What is the reason? If let's say for Nyanza we had Owalo was representing the Luo Nyanza in the cabinet, if that is so, then you take Owalo out, bring in Wandai, or you bring in Mbadi. What does that one change? What does it? Can that one now put it as that is broad? When you go to coast, you take out Aisha Jumwa, replace Aisha Jumwa with Joho. What does that one change really?
It's only change of names. So it's no longer Aisha, it's Joho. It's no longer whatever. But let me tell you, to be honest enough, I'm not being just rude enough. I think Owalo did something for ICT.
Yeah.
I think he tried. Just to be honest.
Owalo tried.
Yeah, just to be honest enough, I think Owalo tried. Now, I also think, despite of this kind of ndogo za Babu na Mwamba kupenda maskati, but I think also Babu na Mwamba really tried for sport. Just to be honest. That guy really tried for sport, kuchukua mavijana, pelekizima la Talent Academy wapi. Alijaribu sana. In fact, I don't think if there's anybody who will come there and try that way. Kipchumba atakuwa tu kwa kikimbia up and down. But actually, Ababu na Mwamba really tried in that sport. Just to be honest. Hizi scandals zake sasa za maskati ningefaa punguze, but he really tried a lot, you see? So basically, you see, also Owalo was not a politician. It's more of a technocrat a bit. Look, even the support Owalo gave for Gor Mahia, for example. Now, how will you tell the community that you say that Owalo was representing Luo, that he removed Owalo and brought Opiyo Wandayi, who has never contributed anything to Gor Mahia? And in fact, Owalo was not even a footballer or a minister of sports, but he was giving donation to both even AFC and Gor Mahia. So these are people who really tried. And I think now, this is where you can tell the picture of Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga is nobody who is interested with development at all. Because if he was interested in development, he could have actually pushed for Owalo to remain as a minister of ICT, because he really tried a lot.
Yeah, Owalo tried. Even like I know he organized some tournaments and like like he was nurturing talents from and even like not on the camera. We have people who like Owalo has really supported out of camera without going to the social media. So my friend, towards Nane Nane, Nane Nane is coming and everyone is ready for it. The Gen Z are ready for it. What is your take on it?
Nane Nane watu watoke saa 11 asubuhi. Very early in the morning. Ukienda kazi yako pitia 8 ndio uende kazi yako. We want the demonstration to start as early as 5 to 6. By 7, what Nairobi has around 1 million people passing Nairobi every day. Au 1 million wote tunataka kuwaona Nane Nane Uhuru Garden, Uhuru Park. Ndio tujipange hapo, tuonyeshe the government that you are really tired, because now we need to squeeze time for our job and for protest, and we need to put it at time that is favorable enough. Juu ukisema saa 7 ama saa 5 labda mtu ako job hawezi toka saa 5 akuje, but ukisema ianze saa 11 asubuhi mtu atapitia hapo achukue breakfast ya maandamano, and in fact we can sustain maandamano breakfast every day. So every day in the morning we pass somewhere by for 1 hour, tumefika State House na tunarudi job, so we have breakfast maandamanos from Nane Nane. But venye nimesema pia kila mtu akate kubuyu yake, akuje na kashiri kake kidogo. Kama una kitu ya kujichunga, kuja na kashiri kako kidogo, kikimwagwa kwa kale kamaji unainua juu hivi kidogo, you protect yourself. So we need to be prepared for it. But at the end of the day, as I've said, because we are still going to the street, we need to advance our tactic, including what I'm proposing, adjust our timing and put more shield to protect ourselves.
Okay, thank you so much. Now let's move out from what is affecting the nation and your political party. And now the political has really changed with the Gen Z coming in. So what is the way forward for you as with your political party?
I will be finishing I went back there wakaniambia, with the new 2022 Election Act inabaki ubadilishe katiba yako kidogo. Nadhani I will be taking back the katiba this on Friday. Again, I've done the review for the 5th time. I'll be doing more review so that from there we proceed to provisional registration again. We start with the mass registration of members. That is in for us, but that is as far as party is concerned. Yeah. Basically, the reason why I'm working on the party is not even for my presidency, but to provide a platform for many young people who want a political space to use. And you see, the name of our party is accountability and transparency. That's what every citizen wants. Every citizen wants accountability and transparency, you see. But beyond that, I'm also doing my own plannings for my presidency, my comeback to the presidency once more, trying to do more network, trying to learn more in terms of philosophy. I'm learning more of leadership. I'm reading more books, accessing, doing more research, so that I'm an informed leader who knows the reality, guided by philosophy and principle. Then I also try to make more networks that can be relevant enough, networks that can either research or something to help us move forward with this. Because I know there are many people out there who are willing to support. But it's a matter of how do you make the rapport and the network so that those network can be turned into net worth. Because unaona kama kina Ruto anaendanga kwa wazungu wa sponsor hao. Na kisha sponsiwa na wazungu wanakuja hapa kutuletea ujinga za wazungu. So why don't you look for some level of support that can help our people, you see? So all this is what I'm doing. I never sat down. I'm still standing or contesting for presidency. Hata kama ule jamaa aliniweka chini, anaitwa nani? Ule Chebukati. Hata kama nilipoteza kwa debe, it didn't mean that I was stopping my candidature. I'm still there and I'll go to the ballot unless Ruto do something for me.
Okay, there's a question from our viewer. Ask him if it is a must he vies or he can allow someone else to vie as a president, and can he support to a different Gen Z candidate?
It's not about someone. It's about some idea and some ideology. So the issue is that I'm very clear. I cannot support any. I never trust them even in 2022. No matter nilijitokeza nikavai hata kazi kwa na uwezo. So there's nobody else I can trust who want to pretend is good for us or mean good for us. At nikae kando ni muongoje ni mwache. And it's not about me supporting the next Gen Z. It's about us sitting together, because I'm looking forward to, if the Gen Zs need actually to be serious and will be united, we need to call for a conference of all candidates who want to contest, who are younger people. Wakuje pamoja sisi kama the millennial and Gen Zs, tuwafanyie dialogue and debate. To approve moja ama wawili wenye tunaweza peleka kwa debe. And I'm ready to subject myself to that. It's always, at the end of the day, it's the best ideas that win. And not even the best. Practical and honesty of a person that wins. Because Ruto was having the best ideas and the best manifestos. But even after winning, what happened? So yes, I'm willing to support anybody who come in who will win my ideology or my idea for this country. And that must be subjected into a competitive system. Not that wewe ndio mweupe, wewe ndio kuna pesa, wewe ndio umejua kizungu mingi, ama wewe ndio umejua hivi na hii. Yeah, I don't support that.
Okay. Kevin Kimutai, what was Murkomen's grave mistake beside his private life?
Kwanza kusema kwamba anaanza kuweka expressway all over, toll station all over. Kwani alipata hizo barabara zikitaksiwa? That was his, leave alone his life. He said that anataka kuweka tax kwa ile barabara inaenda huko nini huko Nakuru. Anataka kuegeuza, yani kila kitu alikuwa anaona kwa barabara ni toll order, toll station, toll
Toll
station, toll
station.
station. That was his biggest mistake to me. I can't say anything else. Mimi hata hiyo vitu alikuwa anavaa sitaki kutambua juu hizo ni pesa zake anataka kuvaa venye anataka kuvaa. But what was his policies? I always disagree with the person based on his policies, not based on his personal lives. That's why I'm telling you, I support Owalo based on what he was doing. I support Babu Namwamba based on what he was doing, despite of his personal life.
Okay, thank you so much. And somebody is still asking, if they chose someone else instead of you, will you support the other one to step down?
What is the biggest problem? I'm ready for any idea that can win for this nation. You see? So I don't care who else they support, as long as that person will be a young person. Usiniambie mzee yoyote atakuja kutusaidia. Mimi usiniambie ati Babu Owino ama Sakaja or anybody who has been mentored by these political looters and these political failures atakuja kunisaidia. Hiyo sahau. Hiyo nitaenda kwa deba hata mguu. Kama nitafika late acha nifike late kwa mguu. But as long as there's anybody who I feel has the best ideas beyond myself, I'm ready to support that, you see.
Okay, thanks. We are still, if you are almost winding up, if you have a question for our guest, please just give it to us, then he will be at a position to answer all the questions for you. And for those who are here for the very first time, thank you so much, and just be part of the show by subscription. We will really appreciate. My comrade and a leader, maybe your last remark before we wind up, maybe if the question comes.
Okay, this is not about my president. My friend, I'm not campaigning now.
Yeah.
I'm working on how we can fix our nation. I'm pointing at problems that are wrong with this nation. And somebody should not either misguide or misjudge that my comments are based on my personal interest for my presidency. Yeah. The reason why we came up with Accountability and Transparency Part is to fight for accountability and transparency. It's not to fight for Pigeon's presidency. It's accountability and transparency. And they know one thing. If we can have accountable and transparent leadership, every citizen in this country can get the right service they want. Every citizen in this country can get what belongs to them. And every leader will be honest enough to take only what belongs to them. But because there's no accountability and there's no transparency in our governance, that's why we are in this big mess today. So it should be very clear that the revolution has two aspects. It's about revolting against the old and a contest for the new. So currently we are revolting against the old system. Kanu era na watoto wake na Raila and the rest. But we are also must be contesting for the new, which means what people are saying, young people coming out to contest for the new ideologies that can push us forward. That is revolution. But our revolution must be backed with solid ideological basis. It's not about person A or person B. It's about this idea one or idea two, which can take our country forward.
Okay. I thank you for highlighting about the ideology. If you look at our political parties that we have, first of all, they are personalized. You know, like when you see a particular party, you see some particular member or particular personality behind it. Then again, the region, yeah. And again, it comes to about the money too, that plays part in terms of giving people certificate. So as your party, is it going to be different from what we've been having from all these political parties we've been having ever since?
ATP, a party leader like myself, is not a member of the executive of the party. That's just a ceremonial position. The party governing organ is National Executive Council, which is governed by the chairperson. So it is the executive that has the dictate to carry the party forward. And that executive should not and is not made up of politicians. They are leaders who do not have conflict anywhere, but rather to actually have a conflict of pushing forward transparency and accountability. In that way, then they are not captured by the party leader, and they are not actually answerable to the party leader, but they are answerable to the party, and any organ must be answerable to the party. And the party has actually clear ideology just in the name, accountability and transparency. So basically, this is different thing. Even if the party doesn't give me my ticket or ticketing for the party, whatever, I can still run my personal ambition outside the party. I did that by being independent candidate because the party had not fulfilled it. And I'm not an automatic candidate of the party. The party has party primaries. If they find somebody automatic enough, they can support the person. You see? But at the end of the day, this is a party that even talks of affirmative action, where it introduced proportional representation. That a government must be proportionally represented. If women are 49% of the country, there must be 49% of a party, there must be 49% of a government. If younger people are 60% in a country, there must be 60% in the party and there must be 60% in the government. That is what we are trying to push for. And we actually owe allegiance to human rights, article of the human rights, chapter 4 of the Bill of Rights. And finally, we also owe allegiance to the integrity chapter of the Constitution. So those are our guiding principles. Whether I have difference with anybody else, that do not impact the party. The party will be guided by the national executive, where the party leader is not even a member. The only thing I came in is to provide a bit some stability and foundation for the party. But actually, this party belongs to the future and the younger generations to come.
Okay. Thank you so much, comrade, for always coming to our show. And if we have any discussion that we will be needing to get your view on it, I will always invite you. And also, I want to thank those who've been watching us, our subscribers. Thank you so much for supporting this channel and continue supporting us so we continue growing. And tomorrow, I will be having Ambassador Esther Waringa. Esther Waringa is planning to run for the presidency of this beloved country, Kenya. So tomorrow she'll be here. Kindly, please come with your questions so she can answer them the way they come. Thank you so much, my comrade.
Brother Ben.
Yeah.
For Esther Waringa, you've mentioned Esther Waringa. I know her.
Yeah.
Just pass these little questions to me for her.
Yes.
One is that we were presidential aspirant together with her sometimes back. She was in the list actually.
Yeah.
She was running something called public governance or whatever. There's public service. There's a project she's having.
Yeah.
And the first time I met her, she was explaining for me these things, that it doesn't need our country to have elections and the rest. That the country can be governed by public whatever service board and something like that. Ask her whether she still believes on the same now that she came out in 2022 to contest, because I didn't find time to ask her that, and now she wants to contest again in 2027. Try to read a bit about the data project of public service whatever, and whether she changed her mind on that, because if she really accepts that she needs to come to the political system of contesting, what happens with that bright idea that she was having, and how will she try to intermarry it to have a proper system? So that's the only request I have for her, and say hi to her.
Yeah, I will. She'll be here tomorrow, and I will make sure that I pass the question to her. She will be I know she will answer that because we've interacted, and it's going to be a very nice one. And once again, comrade, thank you so much for always being there, and if we need you, and thank you so much for also being a supporter of the channel. May God bless you as you continue fighting for the good governance of our country, accountability and transparency. We wish you well in your endeavors.
Thank you very much, comrade.